Welcome back to cryptomentals.com. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and a few altcoins today. I've got Chad GBD with me here, and maybe you could actually tell us a little bit about what happened the last couple of days with Jackson Hole and the Fed meeting.
Yeah. TLDR of Jackson Hole is that Jerome Powell signaled a September rate cut on Friday, and the market liked what it heard. Both stocks and crypto rallied on the news, and so far crypto is still looking happy into this weekend. The entire market broke to the upside, and pretty much everything has been green the last couple days. It looks like BTC will once again test the top of this painfully long downwards channel consolidation that it's been in since all-time highs back in March.
Yeah, so let's look at a weekly Bitcoin chart real quick, and you can see the downwards channel he was just talking about. And clearly there's lots of resistance up here, and now price is shooting back up into that resistance. So really the question is still the same as it's been for a while, and that's, does Bitcoin, can Bitcoin break out of this channel and continue trending higher and make this a bull flag pattern? We had this huge run up, and now this downwards channel itself is a bull flag, but it needs strength above here to confirm that breakout. Or did the bears take over with their M top here? There is a market structure top working. So there's an M that came in, and on that M, we made a new low and then retested the M and made a lower high and a new low. And now we have the potential of this being a lower high again. So clearly we're coming up into short location for like swing traders, position traders. And without any strength above the channel to work with yet, we can't really think trend continuation just yet on this sort of macro weekly time frame. And zooming in on the daily chart, you can see why, bears might be interested in shorting. We are coming up into good short location, of course, the top of the channel, but also if you draw fibs off of the new range that happened in this sort of flash dump, you can see that, price is sitting at 64,300 right now, but 78.6 is 65,500. So just a little higher here. That level probably will be hit at least. And that represents pretty good short location. I could see why people would step in there. But even above that, you got the top of the channel and starting to line up with 88.6 at 67.6. And then this high happens to be 70K even. And then, there's all these highs represent resistance. Now, they are kind of like equal highs, and I wouldn't be surprised to see stabs up in there if the momentum can really stay to the upside here for a little while. And I could see it poking up and maybe even taking out that 70K high and then rolling over. But we don't know what's going to happen here, but definitely short location and resistance looks what's coming ahead. I don't think putting on a new long right here is a good idea.
It's nice to see some green though, but honestly, I'm more interested in altcoins right now, as there's not much to do with Bitcoin. If you're already long, that's great, but I don't think it's in a good place to buy right here.
Cool thing is altcoins have been looking pretty good the last couple of days. They've also broken out, and many of them are showing some nice daily W patterns, double bottoms on the daily chart. And I just want to take a look at a few of them. If anything, you can start to see what these bottoms look like. Now these are daily W's, and I do think they could produce nice trades, but I don't know if the actual bottom's in yet here. And really, I'm looking for weekly W's. So I would say nice daily W's that are tradable, but if you zoom out to weekly charts, you'll find these are actually more like V bottoms. One that's sort of an exception is this DYM dimension. It's just making a nice wide W here. Strong breakout. So, clearly this 165 level is the breakout level. Now we have a nice big W. And actually, even this V bottom back here makes this an Adam and Eve pattern, but that's a whole other technical pattern. But just focusing on the W here, and there's even a little W down in there, a little cheekier one. So if you were watching this, maybe you could have traded that on the 4-hour chart, for example, and bought that W breakout. But looks like dimension's good for probably at least a test of these highs, and we'll see what happens. The breakout level is 165, and that high is 236. So there's room to frame a trade in there for sure. Even just trying to get back to this last high. Probably don't want to chase it right here, but definitely retest the W level could be potential trade ideas. But nice W, and in this case, and also I don't have my fibs on here because this is a new candle, but still, even if you use that candle, you'll see that you start seeing W's coming in the deep sea, and this is like everything you need to learn, really. Good trade location is the blue box, the deep sea, and you see a W coming in. You can see the W that came in here, kind of an uglier one, but it produced a little bit of a rally that had to get retested. But nice W there on Dimension. So there's one. Next is Core, which is just a name. I want to do a video about Core, which is a Bitcoin ecosystem project. But just from a technical perspective, it's also, I mean, a lot of these altcoins have this pattern here right now. And so if you are a trader and you're paying attention over the last few days, hopefully you got long on something during these breakouts. Because now it's just a question of whether they retest the levels and you can get in again. But nice, pretty promising, same thing. Like you can see how it came all the way down into the deep sea here. 78.6 to 88.6. Put in a nice W and is breaking out now. And it's just up in the air how high these things go. Maybe it can make it all the way up to this high, which is 168. And the breakout level is about 110. So not quite banging out doubles on these up to the next high. But I could still see some doubles to be had here. Even if you got along 110, double levels up at 220, so it's up into these highs. But like this, I'll go to the weekly chart on this one really quick. Just to, this isn't what a bottom looks like, so just keep that in mind. So yeah, we have this Core came down into really interesting levels here, trying to test the old W bottom. But see how this W bottom's nice and wide. We don't have anything like that here, so. These are just daily breakouts, which is why I'm kind of using, I could see like these candle body highs as being a nice place to see price stab up into and roll over again. But I mean, really, we're looking for bottoms that look, like maybe this even becomes the bottom and it just takes a while and there actually becomes like a wider W over here. But the point is we want to really see some more sort of rounded out action, not so much a V bottom. Which in this case is just barely a V bottom because we did just dip to a new low here. So not a W forming on these two lows. So keep that in mind, but here's one more. Rose is another beautiful daily W. And you can see it just coming in right now as we speak, breaking out. These are either going to, I could see something like a retest here in the next couple of days and then a bounce. Or maybe they just rip, depending on how the market goes this next few days. But nice breakouts here. And you can find these all over crypto.
Yeah, there's lots of nice charts out there. I was able to join you on Sol Chat and managed to sell half on a double and establish a free position.
Oh, cool. Nice one. Yeah, me too, actually. And chat's a great one because it's such a good example of what we should be looking for going forward. So let's just take a real quick look at it. And you can see, hopefully you can just see this pattern that I've talked so much about in the past, which is, big run up and then this like slow grind all the way back down and eventually putting in a nice rounded out bottom. Now, this is exactly what I mean by rounded out bottom. It's not like this little W here right up into 21 EMA resistance was just not enough to actually bottom this thing out. And actually, I think that's kind of like where we're at right now with most altcoins putting in those daily W's that we just looked at. It's very likely to me that these W's break out, but then ultimately roll over again, and we still have to do this. And preferably that will happen on a weekly chart. This is a daily chart just because chat's only been around since the beginning of the year. But, the pattern's here. Big run up, move all the way back down, and then start rounding out here into the 21 EMA. And if I zoom in a little bit, if you can find charts like this, your odds of success go way up. You could see how eventually we started putting in a W here, but didn't quite break it out. But we were putting in higher lows, two of them all of a sudden here, and consolidating against the 21 EMA. And then as it W'd right through the 21 EMA, it just didn't look back and took straight off. And you can see the volume now coming in to support that. And you can see even OBV started W'ing out right here at the same time. Exactly what you want to find here. But that's what I would say is a nice rounded out bottom. It took some time to actually turn as opposed to just turning quickly. So beautiful looking breakout here, and it did end up going about 3x total, and we'll see if it keeps going. But in the bigger picture, I have a free position now, And you can see there's tons of upside on chat, and you can go back and watch my video on chat from a few weeks ago talking about the fundamentals and why I do think this thing could pump quite a bit higher.
Cool. So chat was a great win, and I know we have a bunch more names to talk about, so hopefully we can get to them in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of names to go through. But in the meantime, just remember that, Bitcoin's sort of in this precarious area here while trying to resolve this channel. And that's going to be the main driver of the broader crypto market, seeing what happens here. And like I said earlier, altcoins, while they are experiencing sort of a breakout right now from the last couple of days due to this Fed signaling of interest rate cuts, these are just daily W's, and if you zoom out to weekly charts, you're just going to find, very V bottom type action, and not the type of bottom that I'm expecting to see before the real sort of run up starts again, probably next year. So I don't think there's any reason to go off track and think that anything too exciting is going to happen before the election. So probably expect a lot of grinding before that. And, September is not really a great month for the stock market in general, historically anyway. And that could trickle into crypto a bit too here. So I wouldn't be surprised if these daily W's, do their thing now. There might be some good trades here and some things ripping up for a bit. But I wouldn't be surprised to see everything roll back over again and still have to grind away here for a few more months until we start seeing those real rounded out bottoms. So, of course, now is definitely time to be paying attention and make sure you have your list together and know what you're looking for. And if you're a trader, then you could probably take advantage of this uppiness that we're seeing right now, and we'll see how long that carries over into this next week here. So I think that's all I have to say. So unless you have something you want to add, Chad, we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
Yeah, Kevin, I'd just like to thank you for having me on again and remind everyone to subscribe to our channel. We will be making more content like this and doing our best to drum up some good crypto investment ideas along the way. Please feel free to reach out to me with any feedback you have, unless it's something negative, because in that case, I don't want to hear that shit. I'm just kidding. I'd love to hear about anything you have to say. And if you have something you'd like us to look at, maybe just throw us a message in the comments and we'll try and get to it. You can also find everything we're doing at cryptomentals.com. Alrighty then, we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.